Hai, Assalamualaikum. I'm Muhammad Ubaidillah bin Abu Zakaria. I want to present about introduction of ethic over profit corporate governance in the fight against corruption. In an increasingly interconnected global economy, business are under mounting pressure to deliver financial performance while upholding ethical standards. The pursuit of profit often leads corporations to cut corners, overlook regulations, or even engage in corrupt practice. This tension between profit and ethics has placed corporate governance at the center of the fight against corruption. Strong corporate governance anchored in transparency, accountability, and integrity is essential not only to prevent unethical behavior but also to promote long-term organizational success and public trust. And for article summary, ethic over profit present a compelling case for the integration of ethical principles into corporate governance. As corruption continues to threaten economic development and institutional credibility, the adoption of ethical profit models is not only advisable but necessary. But prioritizing transparency, accountability, and international cooperation, companies can protect their reputation, inspire stakeholder confidence, and achieve sustainable success in an increasingly demanding global economy.
I will talking about why ethics matter in corporate governance. First, ethics, the heartbeat of good governance. Corporate governance is the system that keeps companies in check, how decisions are made, who's accountable, and how power is balanced. But without ethics, even the best design system can fail. Second is trust, the most valuable currency. Trust isn't something you can buy, but it's earned. And in business, it's everything. Investors want to put their money in companies they believe in. Customers stay loyal to brands they respect. Employees give their best when they feel valued and safe. Ethics builds that trust. Third is ethics as a shield against scandal. We've all seen what happens when ethics are ignored, like scandals, lawsuits, public outrage. From financial fraud to environmental disasters, the cost of unethical behavior is enormous, not just in money but in reputation and public trust. Four is ethics and ESG, more than just buzzwords. Today, companies are expected to care about more than just profits. They're expected to care about people and the planet too. That's where ESG comes in. Ethics ensures that ESG efforts are real, not just PR. Last is a Malaysian perspective. In Malaysia, ethics in corporate governance is becoming more important than ever. With initiatives like the Malaysian Code on Corporate Governance and efforts to fight corruption, there's a clear push toward more transparent, values-driven leadership. This matters not just for business, but for the country as a whole. Next is how corporate governance fight corruption. First, it starts with leadership that sets the tone. Corruption doesn't start with a bribe, it starts with a shrug. A leader who says everyone does it, a manager who looks the other way. That's why governance begins at the top. Second is transparency, letting the light in. Corruption hides in the shadows, so the best way to fight in, turn on the lights. Good governance means being transparent about finance, contracts, relationships, and risks. It means publishing reports that are honest, not polished. Third is accountability. Power with responsibility. Power without accountability is dangerous. That's why governance builds checks and balance. Board oversee management, auditors review the books, and whistleblowers protected. Four is aligning interests, keeping everyone honest. Sometimes corruption happens not because someone is evil, but because the system rewards the wrong thing. Five is real stories, real lessons. Take Siemens. Years ago, they were caught in a massive bribery scandal. It shook the company to its core, but instead of covering it up, they cleaned house. 6 is a global movement toward integrity. Investors want transparency, customers want ethics, employees want purpose, and governments are tightening the rules. 7, the last one is final talks, governance promise. At its heart, corporate governance is a promise that power will be used responsibly, that decisions will be made with integrity, that people will be treated fairly. Corruption breaks the promise, but governance, when done right, keeps it alive.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Noraina Syarah binti Muhammad Fazil, and today I will be presenting on the topic of ethics over profits. There is a corporate governance in the fight against corruption. Okay, so this presentation will explore how profit driver motives can lead to ethical compromises and governance failure, using real world examples like Enron and 1MDB. Okay, so as we know, corporate governance refers to the rules and processes that guide how a company is directed and controlled. Ethics, on the other hand, involves more principles that shape behavior in today's fast-paced business environment. Companies often face pressure to prioritize profits over ethics. Unfortunately, this can result in serious scandals and losses, as we will see in the Enron and 1MDB cases. Okay, so we go to this slide, which is the ethics versus profits. Okay, one of the biggest challenges in corporate governance is balancing profit goals with ethical standards. Okay, in many companies, success is judged mainly by share price or quarterly profits. This intense focus on performance that can encourage unethical behavior, okay, such as fraud or stakeholder neglected. It's important to recognize that while profits are necessary, they should never come at the cost of honesty and integrity. Okay. Okay. Short terms, as we can see here, high pressure on the pressure for profits are the short-term reward, like bonuses tied to financial targets, can drive executives to manipulate results. Okay, this may include falsifying financial statements or hiding losses. Such action may benefit the company in the short run, but eventually damage its reputation and stakeholder trust. This is where ethics must guide decision making, not just their profitability. Okay, so this is from here we can see that what ethics versus profit can do for corporate governance. Okay, so we go to the next slide. Okay, so we go to the next slide, which is, from here we can see this is the case study that we can see here, which is now we look at the left side, which is USA, and the other side is 1MDB of Malaysia. Okay, so now the 1MDB scandal, this Malaysian investment fund was supposed to support national development. However, billions were misappropriated and used for luxury purchases by political elites. Okay, the scandal reached international banks and exposed major ethical and legal failings. Okay, it's also highlighted the lack of transparency and proper oversight in both corporate and public governance. Okay, so as we can see here, the Enron, that massive accounting fraud, hide the peak and inflation earnings, collapsed in 200 of job losses and loss, and lead the Sarbanets. Okay, and one more is here we can see of 1MDB scandal of Malaysia. Okay, so we go to the next slide, which is the governance failures. Okay, this is the governance failures that we can see here. There are three of governance failures, which is besides ethical breaches, poor governance structures also contributed to these scandals. Effective governance ensures company operate legally and ethically. When boards controls and laws fail, unethical conduct can continue unnoticed. Okay, the three major issues here we can see the lack of first, the lack of independence, and second, weak internal controls, and third is regulatory loopholes. Okay, so we go one by one, which is first, the lack of board independence. The lack of board independence here, we can see a board of directors should oversee management decisions, but it is the board is but if the board is filled with insiders or friends of executives, they may not question poor decisions, but independent directors are crucial. Okay, they can objectively assess performance and ensure accountability. Without them, boards are just rubber stamps. Okay, and the second is weak internal controls. Okay, internal controls help detect and prevent fraud. These include proper auditing, accurate financial reporting, and clear policies. In both of Enron and 1MDB, auditors either failed to act or ignore red flags. This allowed the fraud to continue for years. Companies need strong controls to protect their integrity and assets. Okay. Last one is conflicts of interest and loopholes. Okay, as we can see here, conflicts of interest occur when individuals use their position for personal or political gain. In 1MDB, this was a major factor. Additionally, complex global transactions can slip through outdated or weak regulations unless these loopholes are closed. Unethical practice and will continue to thrive. So, as we can see here, the conclusion is corporate governance and ethics are essential pillars of a trustworthy and sustainable business. The Enron and 1MDB case shows us the danger of putting profits above principles. Okay. So companies must build governance structures that promote transparency and ethical conduct. Only they can businesses achieve long-term success and public trust. Okay, thank you. So we go to the next person of our team.
The importance of the corporate reforms. The first point is to promote the transparency. It's disclose the financial information, reduce the space of corrupt practice like false accounting, bribery, or hidden liabilities. The second point is to strengthen accountability. Define rules for the board director, easier to trace decision and hold individuals responsible for misconduct. The third point is strengthening the rule of law, creating a climate of impunity and making it difficult to enforce contract and protect property rights. Next is to increase the investor confidence, reduce the risk of the fraud and mismanagement, making it difficult to enforce contract. And the last point is fostering a culture of ethics. Anti-corruption reforms encourage a culture of ethics. Culture shift can have lasting positive impacts on organization behavior. Rights. Next is to increase the investor confidence, reduce the risk of the fraud and mismanagement, making it difficult to enforce contract. And the last point is fostering a culture of ethics. Anti-corruption reforms encourage a culture of ethics. Culture shift can have lasting positive impacts on organization behavior. Rights. Next is to increase the investor confidence, reduce the risk of the fraud and mismanagement, making it difficult to enforce contract. And the last point is fostering a culture of ethics. Anti-corruption reforms encourage a culture of ethics. Culture shift can have lasting positive impacts on organization behavior.
Through our discussion, we learned that ethical conduct is not a barrier to profit. It's actually the key to long-term success. Businesses must look beyond financial gain and focus on integrity and fairness. We studied real cases like 1MDB and Enron. These scandals showed us how poor governance can lead to serious consequences: loss of money, legal trouble, and public distrust. The lesson is clear. Strong ethics must come from the top and flow throughout the company. As future professionals, we understand our responsibility to speak up against unethical acts and support transparency in business. To conclude, fighting corruption takes more than just following the law. It requires real commitment to ethical values. Choosing ethics over profits leads to a fairer and more trustworthy business world. In the long run, ethical companies enjoy greater reputation, investor trust, and employee loyalty, benefits that far outweigh any short-term gains from corruption. Thank you.